Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajjana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajjana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Vishupad Paramhamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotra Shatashi Srimad Svankasi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Granthiraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Lochan Das Thakur Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. So it is, It's a disappearance. I think it's an appearance. No, that's what I thought. I remember seeing, but... Oh, really? Okay. So before it was the appearance. All right, well. So it's the disappearance of Srila Chandas Thakur. And I'll just read a little bit about him. He's a great devotee, great acharya, great teacher within our line. So we're connected to him. Sri Lochan Das Thakur was a disciple of Sri Narahari Sarkar Thakur, a dearest associate of Lord Chaitanya. This is a quote from Chaitanya Mangal that he wrote, Lochan Das Thakur. My hope of hopes is to be near the lotus feet of Sri Narottam Das Thakur and serve him with my very life. The cherished desire of the fallen Lochan Das is to be allowed, by Narahari's grace, to sing the glories of Lord Gauranga. My Lord is Sri Narahari Thakur, and I am his servant. Bowing before him, I beg for his service. This is my only aspiration. Just glorifying his spiritual master, asking for service. Lochan Das Thakur wrote Chaitanya Mangal, which tells many pastimes of Lord Chaitanya not revealed by Vrindavan Das Thakur or Krishna Das Kaviraj. So yeah, there's three main, you could say, biographies of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So one is the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, which Srila Prabhupada translated and commented on, and other acharyas. But we have our Srila Prabhupada's translation commentary available. And so that's one, Chaitanya Charitamrita. And another one is Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat by Vrindavan Das Thakur. That's also available. They're all available. Everything's available. By Vrindavan Das Thakur, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. A commentary by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's spiritual master. And then there is Chaitanya Mangal. So that's by Lochan Das Thakur. That's who we're reading about now. And the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat with commentary by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, it's practically like the Chaitanya Charitamrita in volumes. It's quite. But the Chaitanya Mangal, at least one I've seen a lot, it seems to be a free-flowing without the commentary, so it's a lot smaller. All right. He mentions an especially touching, so Lochan Das Thakur mentions an especially touching conversation with Lord Chaitanya, that Lord Chaitanya had with Vishnu Priya, Devi, the night before he took sannyas. So before the conversation he had with his wife before he left, accepted sannyas and became traveling renunciant. See it, and then he writes here, see Vishnu Priya's biography entry for the talk. I'm kind of interested in the talk, because it says it's here somewhere. Being a talented musician, Lochan Das told Mahaprabhu's pastimes in beautiful poetry filled with fire and rhythm. Common people could easily understand the divine character of Sri Chaitanya and awaken their religious feelings. As devotees regularly chant the Vedic epics Ramayana and Mahabharata, Gaudiya Vaishnavas still wander through Bengal reciting the Chaitanya Mangal. Lochan Das Thakur also wrote many songs praising Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and Gauri Das Pandit. Lochan Das stresses that Raganuga Bhaktas must take shelter of Gadadhar Vrindavaneshwari to attain Radha Govinda Prema Bhakti. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to print and distribute Lochan Das Thakur's Sri Chaitanya Mangal. Srila Prabhupada was very fond of his bhajans. While singing Parama Karuna, Srila Prabhupada would plunge into the ocean of Gauranga Prem, love for Lord Chaitanya. Prabhupada wrote an extensive commentary on this bhajan, Bhajo Bhajo Bhai Chaitanya Nitai Suradir Vishvashakori, which means, Lord Lochan Das, ask everyone, my dear brother, just worship the Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda with firm faith and conviction. Don't think that this chanting and dancing will not lead to the desired goal. It will. It is assurance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that one will get all perfection by this process. Therefore, one must chant with firm faith and conviction. All right, Lochan Das Thakur ki jai. Yes. Yes, please.
Super compassionate are these two golden lords, Nitai Gaura Chandra. They are the best of lords, crest jewels of avatars, founts of pure bliss and deep wonder. Oh friends, just worship them, Chaitanya Nitai, fixing your mind with firm faith. Give up all sense pleasure, dive in the sea of bliss, chant Hari Hari today. Super compassionate are these two golden lords, Nitai Gaura Chandra. They are the best of lords, crest jewels of avatars, founts of pure bliss and deep wonder. Brothers and sisters, within the three worlds there is no one as kindly as they. Even the birds, stones, and animals weep in bliss when they hear talks of their traits. Listen to what I say. If you do not attain any desire for their service, Yama will punish you, causing you endless pain. This is what Lochan Das says.
It's like very joyful, and at the end, it's the, yeah, then you sing the refrain, super compassionate are these two golden. And if you don't, Yama will punish you, cause you endless pain.
They say pain is a motivator.
Yeah, there's different motivations. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimadbhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 9. Jiva Maharaj leaves home, or returns home, sorry. Jiva Maharaj returns home in text 14. Kalpanta etad ikilim jatarena grinan. Shete puman sadrigananta sakastad anke. Yannabi sinduruhu kanchana loka padma. Garbe duman bhagavate pranano smitasmai. Kopanta etad ikalam chatarena grinan. Shete puman sadrigananta sakastad anke. Yannaba sinduruhu kanchana loka padma. Garbe duman bhagavate pranato smitasya. Tasmai. Sorry. Kalpanta etad ikalam jatarena grinan. Shete puman sadrigananta sakastad anke. Yannaba sinduruhu kanchana loka padma. Garbe duman bhagavate pranato smitasmai.
Kalpanta etadakilam jatarena grinan. Sete puman spadrigananta sakashtaranke. Sete puman spadrigananta sakashtaranke. Yena visindu ruhakanchana loka padma. Yena visindu ruhakanchana loka padma. Garbe yuman bhagavate pranatos tasmai. Garbe yuman bhagavate pranatos tasmai. Kalpanta etadakilam jatarena grinan. Kalpanta etadakilam jatarena grinan. Shete puman spadrigananta sakastaranke. Shete puman spadrigananta sakastaranke. Yanna visindu kanchana loka padma. Yanna visindu kanchana loka padma. Garbe yuman bhagavate pranatosmi tasmai. Garbe yuman bhagavate pranatosmi tasmai. Kalpanta etadakilam jatarena grinan. Sete puman spadrigananta sakastaranke. Yanna visindu ruhakanchana loka padma. Garbe yuman bhagavate pranatosmi tasmai. Kalpanta etadakilam jatarena grinan. Shete puman spadrigananta sakastaranke. Sindhu Ramakanchana Loka Padma Garve Juman Bhagavate Pranatosmi Tasmai.
Okay. Word by word translation. Kalpa ante, at the end of the millennium. Etat, this universe. Akilam, all. Chitarena, within the belly. Grinan, withdrawing. Shete, lies down. Puman, the Supreme Person. Sadrik, looking upon himself. Ananta, the unlimited being Shesha. Sakaha, accompanied by. Tat Anke, on his lap. Yet, from whose? Nabi, navel. Sindhu, ocean. Ruha, sprouted. Kanchana, golden. Loka, planet. Padma, of the lotus. Garbe, on the world. Dyuman, Lord Brahma. Bhagavate, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pranataha, offering obeisances. Asmi, I am. Tasmai, unto him. Translation. My dear Lord, at the end of each millennium, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, dissolves everything manifested within the universe into his belly. He lies down on the lap of Shesha Naga. From his navel sprouts a golden lotus flower on a stem, and on that lotus Lord Brahma is created. I can understand that you are the same Supreme Godhead. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. Dhruva Maharaj's understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is complete. In the Vedas it is said, Yasmin vigate sarvam ivam vigatam bhavati. Knowledge received through the transcendental causeless mercy of the Lord is so perfect that by that knowledge the devotee becomes acquainted with all the different manifestations of the Lord. Lord Kshirodakshaya Vishnu was present before Dhruva Maharaj, who could also understand the Lord's two other forms, namely Garbhodakshaya Vishnu and Karnadakshaya Vishnu, Mahavishnu. Regarding Mahavishnu, it is stated in the Brahma Samhita 548, Yasyaika nishvasitikala mathavalamba jivanti loma villaja jagadandanata vishnor mahansa yasya kalavishesho govinda maripusham tamaham bhajami. At the end of each and every millennium, when all the material worlds are dissolved, everything enters the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who is lying on the lap of Sheshanaga, another form of the Lord. Those who are not devotees cannot understand the different forms of Vishnu in their positions in regard to the creation. Sometimes the atheists argue, how can a flower stem sprout from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu? The atheists have so many problems with the religion, so many questions about it. They consider all the statements of the Shastras to be stories. As a result of their inexperience in the absolute truth and their reluctance to accept authority, they become more and more atheistic. They cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But a devotee like Dhruva Maharaj, by the grace of the Lord, knows all the manifestations of the Lord in their different positions. It is said that anyone who has even a little of the Lord's grace can understand his glories. Others may go on speculating on the absolute truth, but they will always be unable to understand the Lord. In other words, unless one comes in contact with a devotee, it is not possible to understand the transcendental form or the spiritual world and its transcendental activities. Om Ganativedandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chukshulan Viditaman Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Kam Karidvachalam Pangam Langayate Gadim Yat Kripata Maham Vande Shri Gurun Dinitaranam Vancha Kapadirvishta Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauda Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I'll read the translation once more. My dear Lord, at the end of each millennium, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, dissolves everything manifested within the universe into his belly. He lies down on the lap of Sheshanag. From his navel sprouts a golden lotus flower on a stem. And on that lotus, Lord Brahma is created. I can understand that you are the same Supreme Godhead. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Hare Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada had not sure what his name was, but one disciple, he went to Prabhupada and he was expressing some of his doubts, as disciples do, to their guru, or they should. That's an important part, that if somebody has doubts about something, about some aspect of Krishna consciousness, then they should present those doubts to a teacher so they could be dispelled. Or else the doubts remain and they fester, and then one just gives up the process because so many doubts are there. So you doubt this, you doubt that, you doubt this, and you just doubt everything, and then gone. So to present to the teacher. So one disciple, he did that. Nice thing to do. And his doubts were, he was saying, oh, Prabhupada, it's difficult for me to accept this. You know, Lord Brahma, because there's demigods, and Lord Brahma, he has 4 heads, right? There's 4 heads, how exactly that looks and how that works, right? We're not sure so much, but he's got 4 heads, and he also, what does he ride on? What's his? Swan. He rides on a swan carrier. It's like this huge swan, and that's how he gets around, and it's very bewildering to me. I can't really accept this. And what to speak of, that's just Lord Brahma. There's others too. That's the Lord Shiva, and so many others. Other amazing personalities. So he was having a hard time accepting this. So and that was his complaint, that was his doubt. He's going to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada heard him out, and then he said, and Prabhupada's answer was that, do you like chanting Hare Krishna? And then this devotee said, yes, Prabhupada, I love chanting Hare Krishna, it's so wonderful. And Prabhupada said, well, just go, so just go on chanting Hare Krishna, and over time these things will become more clear to you. But don't worry about it right now. He said, just put that on the back burner, and just over time it will become more clear to you. Now, whether Lord Brahma, right, he's chanting Hare Krishna, and then Lord Brahma appears on a swan carrier, of course, these things usually don't happen. But means that over time, the idea will make more sense to him by chanting. So in other words, if there's some doubts within our minds about anything and any aspect of Krishna consciousness or the philosophy and so on, then we should just put that on the back burner. Of course, we could present our doubts to somebody, but as Srila Prabhupada gave this devotee advice, you put it on the back burner, you chant Hare Krishna, and things will become more clear. In the sense that we ultimately, if what we're really searching for, or what people are really searching for, is that happiness or the bliss that one can obtain from Krishna consciousness, and maybe people think they could obtain it otherwise. So, now in relation to these Vishnus, Srila Prabhupada mentions there's Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Karnadakshaya Vishnu, and Chiradakshaya Vishnu, right? So just a question for the audience. One person or 2 people or 3 people, 3 devotees, whoever wants to answer, and give a brief description of these different Vishnus. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Karnadakshaya Vishnu, Chirodakshaya Vishnu. Okay. Jamal? Here, Dravida Prabhu. We could try to use the microphone. Okay, Dravida Prabhu. So devotees will answer and Dravida Prabhu will be the referee. Okay? See if we answered properly.
So
About the different Vishnus.
okay. Karnadakshay Vishnu is Mahavishnu. He lies down in the Kalsa ocean. Then from him comes Garbhadakshay Vishnu, which he lies down in the Garbhodak ocean in each universe that emanates from Mahavishnu. And then from Garbhodakshay Vishnu comes Shirodakshay Vishnu, who enters within each atom within each universe. Correct?
Some addition?
From Mahavishnu, he's exhaling, and all those universes come out in seed form. Also, from the pores of his body are coming.
There's a picture over here.
Yeah, we have the graphic. And as you mentioned, then he expands, Garbhodakashay Vishnu. Now, why is he called Karanodakashay Vishnu? That's another name for Mahavishnu. Causal, yeah. All of these udakas, they're oceans. And Garbha udaka, Garbha is a fetus. So there's Garbhodakashay Vishnu, he's got nowhere to lay. So he perspires, fills half of the universe with his own perspiration, lies down on Sheshanag and that. So he's like a fetus in the womb. So that's Garbha Udakashaya Vishnu. And as mentioned, the lotus grows from his navel. Brahma appears on there, so he's known as Ajay because he doesn't have a normal mother and father. And then, as he said, expands as Chirodakashaya. Now what's the Chirodakashaya? Ocean of milk. Or kheer, condensed milk. And
he's lying there.
He's in every atom as a super soul as well as in every heart. And so that's pretty complete.
All right, great.
90%.
You give him an A?
Yeah.
Jamal gets an A.
90%'s an A minus.
Dang.
All right, great. Chirodakshaya Vishnu. He's lying in the ocean of milk. I think Madhusudan Prabhu, he told me, he asked Prabhupada the question personally, he said about something about, like an ocean, I think the ocean of milk. And then he was, oh, Prabhupada, is there really an ocean of milk? And then Prabhupada said, yes. He said, I'll drown you in it. He's just joking. Madhusudan told me that, Prabhu. Yeah, that's true. He's a sweet rice maker. So yeah, these things may not, especially right in the beginning, it may not make sense, and people may have problems with this. Because ultimately, okay, when's the last time somebody's seen? When's the last time one of us has seen, Chirodakshaya Vishnu or Garbhodakshaya Vishnu or Karnadakshaya Vishnu or Lord Brahma or any of these personalities? And of course, you could say, oh, well, I saw him here. There's a picture over here, right? So yeah, it could be a bit of an issue for some people. But then again, there are many, you could say, aspects of Krishna consciousness that are more easily acceptable and understandable. For example, the nature of the soul, right? We can understand that to some degree, right? As logic and reason, or reincarnation. There's so many other aspects we could easily accept, whereas other ones may be more difficult. So again, this idea of ultimately, if we want to accept something that makes sense, but ultimately when it comes down to it, people, practically everybody, is just is really looking for, you could say, the feeling. They're feeling. And what I mean by it is that if something may be extremely logical, right? There may be a philosophical presentation about the meaning of life and this and that. But if by following that particular philosophy, people don't feel happy, people don't feel satisfied, people don't feel like they're, right, diving in the ocean of bliss, or however you want to think of this, then they're not gonna stick with it. And that's why many people, they leave religion. They leave religious process. Why? Because the religion has failed to provide the goods that the scriptures, that the religious leaders, spiritual leaders have said. Oh, it's so happiness, this and that, peace, and then people take to it, and then there's something missing. Now, of course, someone may say, well, there's two things. There's either a problem with the process, means it's insufficient, something's wrong with it, or something's lacking, or there's a problem with the practitioner. So many devotees I've spoke with, they said, oh, I went to this place, I went to that place, I did this meditation, I did that meditation. Nothing was really providing the goods. Nothing was really hitting home, or what I didn't get the experience I was looking for. And then they say, I come to Krishna consciousness and I get that experience, and I've got that experience, and that's my experience too. I mean, I did my study, I did my investigation, I did my, and I was trying to be sincere about it. I honestly was. I wasn't just rejecting something because whatever, just on face value. I really wanted to see what it provided. So for example, I went to a church. I would go to the church on Saturday morning, and I'd come to the temple on Sunday night. And I was doing that. I kept on doing that for months. I was doing that. And I would see, okay, how do I, because ultimately, like I was saying, you want some result, So I was saying, okay, what's the experience I've had, or how do I feel, right? When I talk with these people at the church, right? What's their consciousness, and what are they saying? And then, okay, I would sing with them. I'd be there at the church, I'd be singing the songs, and I wasn't doing it in a joking way. I was serious. And I would read the books and so on, like that. And then I would come to the temple and do the same thing. And I was also going to a Buddhist place, so I'd go to meditate and whatever, they'd have some music in the background and meditating. I'd read the books. And
There's no taste in that.
yeah, there was some music in the back. It was a Buddhist place, but there was some music in the background. It wasn't nothing. I think if he didn't play any music, it wouldn't get anybody. Because as it is, there was only a few of us on Saturday mornings, like 10 or something at the most. So, and throughout all that, of course, you could say there was something there within the other. I'm not saying there was nothing there. Nothing. There was something there within those experiences. But whatever I found there, I found it here. I found here at the temple, but it's like I don't want to give a bad example, like on steroids or something. But no. But I found here, but just multiplied by so many times more. And that's so many devotees' experiences. Now, of course, the problem comes, like sometimes the doubters, the atheists, like Trivedi Prabhu told us about his brother. No offense to your brother, but Trivedi Prabhu said that his brother, he invited his brother to chant Hare Krishna, and his brother's atheist or whatever, and then his brother chanted one round. And he said, oh, right, he said, oh, nothing happened, Yeah, 2 blocked over. So there has to be an honest, sincere, serious investigation. So people, the problem comes is that people don't do that. People don't do that. They don't do the serious, sincere investigation, and therefore they don't get the goods that the scriptures, that the people are saying. They don't get the results that are promised. So that's one problem. And then another problem is that once one comes and they are experiencing some of the results and some of the fruits of the activity, the experiences, spiritual experiences, that over time somehow or other their consciousness becomes covered in the sense that whatever, they stop practicing as sincere, as serious as they used to, or they get involved with other crowds and so on, and another, they forget the potency of the power of the spiritual practices, and then they think, oh well, It's not really working anymore. Maybe that was all just a hallucination. I was just hallucinating all this, and this is actually real, my new crowd, and whatever. So we want to, first of all, apply ourselves, and then we will get the results. And then also be careful that once the results are being obtained, to continue and not be influenced by evil influences. Not be influenced by other people and on and on and on that may affect what we're achieving. And ultimately, Srila Prabhupada said that if anybody takes to religion or takes to spiritual process, then the test, Prabhupada will always say, the test is, are you developing your love for God? That's the test. Right? And he would always quote that. Bhagavatam doesn't say this religion, that religion. It says that religious process by which you obtain love. And he would quote that verse, right? Savai pamso paro dhammo ito bhaktir hoksuje. Ahoy takiya pratiyata yatma suprasidati. So that means that it should be unmotivated, our devotion to Krishna, God, should be unmotivated, uninterrupted, and that will completely satisfy the self. And what else is to that one? Those are the main points. So the test is the love awakening? Is it manifesting? And again, that has to do with our application and misapplication, application, different processes. So, but also, it's not just that love for Krishna or love for God is awakening, but love for other people too. And of course, when you say that word love, I mean, it could be confusing. People have weird ideas of love and exploitation and enjoying this material world in a completely mundane, materialistic way. But but it means selfless, seeing everybody as spiritual beings, right? Like the Bhagavad Gita says, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, what's that famous verse about the Brahman? Who knows that verse? Brahman, have it? Yeah. Pandita Samadarshana. So the learned Brahman, the learned person sees with equal vision a dog eater, a cow, an elephant, a learned Brahmin or priest, right, saintly person. The person sees everyone on the spiritual platform, sees the soul, sees the super soul with everyone. So in other words, they see the person as connected with Krishna. And Mamai Vangso Jiva Loke Jiva Buddha Sanatana, that Krishna says everyone is my part and parcels. They're connected with me. So in other words, if we see that we're all connected on the spiritual platform, all connected, we're all in the same, you could say, Krishna family. What do they have? I think they have that in, right, the puja. What is it? Achyuta Gota, right? It's a family of Krishna, right? Then things go a little better than in the mundane, materialistic life. They go a lot better. There was one, in other words, the hate, the negativity, the frustration, the aggravation, the fighting, all of that tends to go away. Why? Because we're seeing each other in the right perspective, the right view. There was one interesting, I don't know why, but they did this experiment, but apparently some young boys, I guess they had some religious Christian upbringing, background, and understanding, but they're young boys, you know how young boys are. So young boys, the experiment was that, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to put a picture of the person you don't like the most, the person that you hate, the person you don't like the most on the wall. And then we're going to throw darts at him, right? Throw darts at it. So all the boys were doing that, right? Throwing darts. Yeah, enthusiastically, throwing darts. And I don't know if they had the same person. I'm sure they had other people. Maybe they had the same person. And so, anyways, so they were doing that, and then the teacher or the person who initiated this whole process, he said, "Okay, all right, the fun's over." So then he peeled off the picture of the person, and behind that picture was a picture of Jesus. Was a picture of Jesus, and then all the boys got all disturbed, and maybe some of them cried. I don't know, whatever. They got upset, because they didn't want to do that to Jesus. Of course, that's their Lord, that's their Master, that's their Savior. They don't want to do that to Jesus. So, and then the teacher explained that who you dislike the most, or that's a child of God. They're connected. We're all connected. So you're taking out so much hate on this person, but they're actually connected to Krishna, to Jesus, to God. So that was an interesting lesson for them, I'm sure. Of course, in the Vaishnav world, we'd be we wouldn't do that, put a picture of Krishna on. You have to be very careful with pictures, actually. So in this way, atheism is this doubting propensity, this atheistic propensity, this propensity to not accept authority, and on and on and on. It's actually conquered or overcome by the grace of Krishna, by the grace of the Vaishnavas, and specifically by the process that Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda coming down and giving us the holy name, and Srila Prabhupada coming and giving us a wonderful process of bhakti yoga, chanting the holy names, and so many other wonderful devotional activities we do. And in this way, whatever remnants of atheism or doubts or just any remnants of materialistic mentality can be conquered by the grace, by the affection, by the wonderful process that Lord Chaitanya has given us. And by developing that, or by experiencing that grace, then we're able to be convinced of Krishna consciousness, or else we won't be convinced. On a philosophical platform, we may be convinced for some time, but that won't last. We need a experience. And therefore Srila Prabhupada was so successful. Because not only he came and he gave the wonderful highest philosophy, but he demonstrated practically how to attain that transcendental bliss, because he himself was experiencing it. So we also have to experience that and set the example for others. So I think the time's out, but I can't tell because there's not a clock here. But there's a clock. Oh, yes, it is. So does anyone have any? Yes, but your answer. Okay.
Just the comment and the question. Lord Brahma, the lotus, four heads. Come on, Greek mythology. But a little ant crawling along the floor, if I explain to them, that there's Balarama giving class, and there's downtown SanDiego with skyscrapers and airplanes flying in the sky, the ant is like inconceivable. How high does an ant even see, So it's really based on pride. We're assuming that we're at the apex, the top of experience in the universe, and everything is subordinate to our perception. But really, we're just insignificant, And we're more or less like ants in the grand scheme of things. So the fact that, I remember my father took me to work one day. It was to take your son to work, and I was probably 6 years old. And I knew where my little friend's house was. I knew where my elementary school was. I knew where the park was. I had my little reality. I knew where the grocery store was. I had my little reality. And I remember in my father's car, we drove past all those things, and all of a sudden we were in downtown Los Angeles with these big skyscrapers. You know, and I thought, wow, where did this all come from? So it's just pride that everything, we understand everything, and everything is subordinate to us, but it's huge hubris. Okay, here's my question. You know, it's all based on feeling? You know, I feel, well, I come to the Hare Krishna temple and I feel, you know, a rush. Maybe it's just the sugar high from the halava.
That has something to do with it, maybe.
Yeah. Works for me.
Whoa, kirtan, whoa.
So, you know, this is a typical religious hype that you just put aside, you know, the injustices of the world and so many things and say that there's God and, you know, just have faith and hallelujah.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. Yeah, I just have a comment on your comment, and then I'll say the question, and then comment on the question. But about being an ant and the understanding. I mean, even dogs, and what do people understand, and what are we understanding? So, Prabhupada, somebody asked a question. Oh, you said that there's, I don't know, Prabhupada said something far out. There's like a eagle who picks up an elephant and, you know, drops them, or, oh, you know, flies from different planets and all this stuff. So then the guy, yeah, and then the guy said, oh, well, I don't really understand that. And then Prabhupada said, oh, what do you know? He said, you just came out of your mother's womb, you know. Now, this was a grown man, and it didn't just come out of his mother's womb. But Prabhupada, what do you know, you know? So, in relation to what you're saying, yeah, it's like people think, oh, this is the apex of, you know, the humans, and it's just pride, like, yeah. So in terms of this feeling and like the question, well, it's, I mean, there's so many books, for example. It's not that we're just, you know, not that it's just a bunch of feelings, but we have so many books. We have the Bhagavat Prana, srimadbhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. There's so much philosophical. I mean, throughout the whole entire world, everybody, practically, anybody who has a brain left, they accept Bhagavad Gita as a very important philosophical classic. And they study it in the universities and so on. So it's not that there's no philosophy. There is philosophy. But ultimately, even the biggest atheists, they may say, oh, you know, I'm all about, you know, logical thinking and, you know, rationalizing and all this stuff. And then on Sunday morning, they're watching Star Trek. And what do I mean by that is they are suspending their so-called, you know, logic and reason. I mean, how does Star Trek make any sense, for God's sake? It doesn't make any sense. It's like, I mean, I never liked that. I never liked the looks of it. I never watched it because I just didn't like the looks. But, you know, whatever, the guy, it's some alien-looking guys flying around in space and doing all this stuff. And it doesn't exist. It's fictitious. Absolutely fictitious. And then the atheist, the so-called big, you know, atheist and, you know, logical thinker, on Sunday morning when he's watching Star Trek, he gives his kid, you know, the iPad or whatever, and they watch Sesame Street. You know, Big Bird talking, and doesn't exist. Frog talking. It's just. So, although they claim to be logical and rational and all these different things, but when it comes down to it in their practical life, they are very much suspending, they're very much, you could say, pulling away from reality, entering into a world that is absolutely non-existent, such as all these movies and so on. And aside from that, it's, I mean, ultimately it's, the atheists, they also want that experience of, you know, happiness and joy and satisfaction and all that. they just may get it through other means. So they may say that, oh, there's no God, and then they go to the local pub, right, and they get drunk, and so they're looking for that happiness. So we say that, okay, fine, you say there's no God, and okay, you have to get your happiness so many other ways. But we say there is God, and we say He does exist, and there's so much philosophy for you to study and investigate, and that this happiness is higher. So if you want to be so arrogant to blindly reject, or they say, right, there's blind faith, right? You just kind of accept, no philosophy. I believe it because the book says it. I believe it because my priest said it. Blind faith, there's no reason, there's no logic, there's no thinking, there's no critical thinking. Okay, fine, we're not into that. But there's also blind doubt, that you are blindly doubting something without investigation. You are a rascal. No, you're blindly doubting something without investigation, and that's illogical. Just like Bhagavad Gita, to comment on a book one has not read, that is just weird and strange and illogical and arrogant. So people do that all the time. They, Bhagavad Gita and all that. Well, have you read it? No, I haven't read it. Well, why are you commenting on it then? It's like someone gives a review on Amazon. Yeah, this product's horrible. Well, did they buy it? No. So then, yeah, they're paid by the competitor. So you have to investigate first. So that was something I would say in relation. Okay. Australian pub. It used to be the Australian pub. Now it's the pizza place. Sandbox.
I have a question that's kind of along those lines. Hypothetically, let's say along with you there were two other people. Every morning went to the church, the Buddhist ashram, and the temple in the evening. You found your bliss here. And let's say those two other people, one actually found their bliss at the church and one found it their home and nothing at the Buddhist. And they're completely satisfied. You knew each other. You were going for weeks and weeks and weeks, and you said, "I'm very, very happy here. I'm very, very happy over here, and I'm very, very happy over here. I feel like I found exactly what I'm looking for." Should I just be left like that? Does that mean that everyone will find their bliss somewhere, and that's fine and dandy, and just you're okay, I'm okay?
Yeah, we say that there's different levels of realization. So we say that there's Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. So there's the impersonal aspect of God. There's God in everybody's heart, Paramatma, and then there's Bhagavan, right? The personality of Godhead. So that's just how this reality has been, designed, or just that's how it is. That at some people they're impersonalist. And they're die in the wool? Dyed in the wool and personalist. So it means they're fixed on that. So they don't want a personal God. So for such people, then Krishna facilitates such paths. Okay, fine. You don't want a personal God, then just like Buddha. Buddha was Krishna, but he came and he said, reject the Vedas. The Vedas are theistic; they're for God. But he said, reject them. And why did he do that? Because everybody was performing nonsense, violence in the name of the Vedas. So he's saying, he said, give it up and follow me, which is impersonalist path. And then later, of course, Vaishnavacharyas came, and so it's a whole historical thing. But yeah, the paths are created for different people. Just like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yeyatamam prapadyante tam sadeva bhajamiham, that everybody follows me in all respects, means that these paths are there and they're given by Krishna because people don't want Krishna directly. So there may be two guys that were going with me there, and one of them may end up at a Buddhist place and one of them may end up at the church that I was going to. But that doesn't necessarily mean that all paths are equal and all paths have the same goal. just like Prabhupada would say, that the Bible is, of course this isn't the Bible, this is the Bhagavad Purana, but you can imagine it's the Bible. The Bible is like the dictionary, what do you say, what's the pocket dictionary, and the Bhagavatam, or the Vedic scriptures, is like what? Oxford Unabridged Dictionary. So what you find, the basic principles you find in the Bible, or the pocket dictionary, you'll find the Oxford, but you find more. And that is absolutely true. It is not, I mean, of course people get mad about that, we say that, but it's absolutely true. I mean, I've been reading the Bible lately to go through it, just a comparative study, and especially the Old Testament. I haven't got to the New Testament yet, but the Old Testament, it's very challenging, very difficult. The storyline, what's the moral behind the story? I mean, this person went here and he met him, and then he became a slave, and his brother came and he killed him, and then they went here and they got a flock of sheep, and it's like, yeah, he donated some horses, and I don't know. It's just like, okay, fine, like. I'm just wondering the moral. There is some stuff, there's the moral. Psalms is good, yes, yeah. So there's, and I'm not, I'm talking about Genesis. This is yeah. So I'm not saying it's like, bad or anything like that, but it's, Bhagavatam is very special. So, all right, I think it's, okay. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.